If you take a quick Google today, you're in for a big surprise. Welcome, magical people, to Zealman's Wizarding World, your channel for magical games. So if you make the mistake of Googling for Hogwarts Legacy, you may be in for a little bit of a shock with these kind of headlines. Yes, there are loads and loads of articles talking about a rumoured delay and the game being in trouble and possibly pushed back to 2023. But of course, if you have a look at these, they're all a bit sensationalising one line mentioned on a podcast. Colin Moriarty, the host of the Paywall Sacred Symbols podcast, says, "I'm hearing behind the scenes that the game is not coming out this year and that it's in some sort of trouble." By the way, I'm whispering because this is the second time I've had to record this, and the little one is asleep next door, so gotta be quiet. Call me a cynic, because those of you who know me, you know I'm quite cynical. But if you want to promote your pay-to-view podcast or pay-to-listen podcast, it's probably good to say something non-committal that you know that the news sites would pick up on. So basically you're baiting the news sites because they're all desperate for news, because Hogwarts Legacy, unlike Hogwarts anything else, is actually a well-anticipated game because you pay once for it and not through the nose continuously. So, if we have a look at Colin's Twitter, it does say that no, we don't work with publishers, developers, PR or marketing. So, where's he getting this information from? So, if you look at Colin's LinkedIn, you kind of see that he worked for IGN, the news network, as a senior editor back in 2014. So, it's quite some time ago. And since then, he's become kind of essentially a podcaster owning a couple of very small companies. So it kind of sounds like he's heard a rumour from a guy that he used to know, who may have heard it from another guy, that the game is in trouble. We could also assume that his information is probably a little bit out of date. We've had the Christmas holidays and things like that. And in the podcast, this section wasn't on Hogwarts Legacy. It was kind of a list of games that they were predicting or making or something or other. And he didn't put it on there, and it appeared somewhere else. And then he kind of went, blah, 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 blah. This game's in trouble, leading me to think maybe he's just trying to defend the fact that he forgot to put it in his list. Maybe. Of course, a lot has happened in the past couple of months after Zero. So we had the Sumo Digital announcement that they're working, and the other leaker account in GT that we kind of know. They say the support from Sumo Digital Studios has really helped with the development, and it's kind of made it back on track again. So maybe his information is pre-work from this studio, and that sort of thing. So technically, he could actually be telling the truth. But his information could be, any more than 8 weeks old, then it's out of date. And the issue could be resolved. Certainly the addition of the Sumo Digital staff, the appointment of the localization producer, which we talked about earlier. This is kind of a late stage kind of person you bring on board when the development's near its end. And also the appointment of the community manager. All kind of good signs that development is drawing to a close. Well, development really draws to a close, but drawing to a release. So just need to remember that those are the things we have firm dates against. Also, nothing to say, I am trialling out an autofocus thing on my camera, hoping it works. So hopefully this doesn't bounce into that focus like last time. So the only spanner in the works that I can see at the moment is this whole thing with AT&T, who own Warner Media, and they are kind of merging with Discovery. Warner Brothers games are set to be split between AT&T and Discovery in 2022, so this year. I think Warner Brothers has like 6 studios or something, and they're being kind of split out. So it's not hard to see that this could cause some sort of delay. Or maybe this was the issue that Colin was alluding to, where they were reviewing every game, and maybe Hogwarts Legacy may have been on the, shall we ditch this because of the whole JK Rowling thing, and they decided to go ahead, and that's why things started to move. So that's what he could be alluding to, and that's already resolved. Who can say? In fact, that could be the reason why it was delayed to 2022 in the first place, really. So, as I say, I wouldn't worry too much about this. It's probably just a compilation of shock journalism to get you to click through and get all the ads thrown at you. And possibly Colin went to make a quick, a huge advertising for his podcast. I'm talking about it. James is talking about it. All these other news sites are talking about it, so he's winning. I know James paid for a subscription, so he got at least one from it. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Is Colin just blowing smoke? Or is he just running from out-of-date information? Or could it be true? Could we be really screwed? Who knows? But here, on Zealman's Wizarding World, we do not sensationalise things here. We're not going to go, Hogwarts Legacy cancelled across our thumbnails. We're just going to try and tell you as it is. No hype. Just straight line. No messing around. So, if you like this video, hit like. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at the Zealman. And subscribe if you haven't done so already. Tell a friend. Etc. etc. So, don't forget to brush up on your spells and get you ones ready to write your own Hogwarts Legacy.